Prepare for nuclear war? That's exactly what Trump and Russia both basically said. We're also going to talk about how China is escalating their situation with Taiwan. They both said, we're ready for war. Trump says we're ready for war. Medvedev said we're ready for nuclear war. Are we really seeing the escalation to World War III? Now, this is not just clickbait. This is not just joking. This is serious thought patterns. Well, let's talk about today. We're going to talk about the stories that we just heard. Now, we're also going to talk about the jobs numbers. How the jobs numbers seem to be wrong, and Trump fired the labor secretary and all that kind of stuff. I want to mention to you some job numbers that just came out that's from a source that's actually not a Trump supporter, that actually is very good news for America. We'll discuss that. Also, drug prices. We talked about this a little yesterday, but drug prices have come down. A 60-day window Trump gave pharmaceutical companies to get this right. If they don't, he said he will take all means necessary to fix it himself. Now, that's pretty good news, isn't it? Let's dive into all these stories today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay. But let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Also remember, at the end of this video, we will be releasing the winner of July's entry. Basically, all it takes to get entered into our giveaways is to simply subscribe to this channel, subscribe to the Life with Colby Mac channel, and then give us a thumbs up on a video, comment. The more you comment, the more you're entered, just because our analytics tells us how much you've commented. We put you in a drawing, randomly selected, and we appreciate each and every one of you. We humbly thank you for watching. Yesterday's video got taken down. We'll discuss that on another day, but let's dive into the things for today, and please share this content if you like it. Now let's jump into what was said. Now first, let's go and start with China, and then we're going to maneuver into what Trump said about America's nuclear readiness, but also Russia. There's a new report from Middle Eastern Affairs that says the Chinese army has carried out massive deployments of military personnel to Fujian, a city close to Taiwan. According to local sources, only the operation is ordered by President Xi and is currently awaiting his go-ahead. Now this comes after yesterday, he was in a military parade, and he says Sky News also reported that China is preparing for Taiwan. So there's several sources that are saying that China is now getting ready. I said this yesterday's video, and I think it got lost in translation. I think now you're seeing China get more involved and ready to go to Taiwan, not because they think Trump's weak. I actually think it's because they know Trump is not going to get in a forever war. I also believe that China knows they have Russia's back, and Russia knows they have China's back. And I think that helps them having two major world powers actually clinging to each other, and it actually hurts us a little worse. Another thing to think about too is you have India hanging out there. India, they try to play both sides. So now we're wanting to put extra tariffs on them, but actually what they're doing is buying a lot of Russian oil. So now they're going to have to pick, do they want their economy to thrive under America, or do they need the energy source that Russia is giving them? So it's going to be a catch-22 to see what they're going to do. But it says multiple sources showed that all it takes is Xi saying go. The readiness is there. They're preparing. They've been setting up. They've got all these hovercrafts to be able to infiltrate the beach. They've got all these big piers that's going to be able to be utilized on the beach, because Taiwan is a very unique location and the way it's set up. So they've built all this infrastructure for that one purpose, to take Taiwan. Now, what would this do to industry? I think it would cause a shortage. NVIDIA came out and said that a lot of the semiconductors and a lot of the technology that we're getting is from this region, Taiwan and parts of China. And they said if this takes place, this could cause some major shortages for vehicles, for anything you use, telecommunications. Everything could slow down because of the issues with the semiconductors. This is where I think Trump should be proactive and get some of those scientists, get some of that knowledge, and start bringing some of those people here and start making these things here. Promise them riches, I don't care, but get that information and those needs over to America, so that way our dependence is not on Taiwan or China, and so we can stay out of this, but it will make us more independent. Now let's go right into what Trump and Russia's been talking about. Now first, we made mention of this yesterday. Poland is starting to prepare for war as well. Now Poland has been one of those ones that plays both sides. They play the left, they play the right, they try to act tough, then they try to come back. The thing is this, though. They've been wanting to get rid of Russia for a long time. They've been wanting nuclear missiles placed in Poland for a long time. I want to read this story, and this is actually from yesterday. Poland is preparing swarms of sea drones for war with Russia in the Baltic Sea. The Poles decided to copy the tactics of the Ukrainian GUR and SBU, basically their drone divisions and their intelligence. Currently, the country's special forces are testing, here's the part you want to listen to, they're currently testing Havoc AI's sea drones that are America's ultra-cheap sea drones that can help in this capability. So did you hear that? Havoc AI, which is an American-based company, is providing these drones. So America is preparing for this. And we can talk about proxies, but let's talk about what Trump just said, because that's what really matters, because that's our president. Trump says Medvedev was talking about nuclear when he talked about nuclear war and how they were prepared. Medvedev basically said yesterday that he is prepared for nuclear war with America. He says they can't stand with us, meaning Medvedev saying about America. Now, again, I think we need to bring this tone down. If you notice, Putin never is the one that actually usually says we're going to nuclear war or escalation. Medvedev tends to be that person. It's kind of like his wild dog. What he does is he throws him out there and allows him to say this as not at the main leader, but kind of his second in command, just to see how the world reacts, to see if the world powers are going to get mad at Russia for him saying that, so he can kind of, push back on Medvedev. But really what he said is, we're prepared for nuclear war, and we will hurt the U.S. They need to tone down what's going on. Russia is not going to actually get peace with Ukraine. Why? They actually have the upper hand. They are making inroads. Now, it doesn't matter if you like that or not. I mean, both these countries are evil to me, Ukraine and Russia. I think this is a bad situation. It's a regional war. We need to stay out of it. But if you really talk about the true numbers, Russia is taking over major parts of Ukraine. So Russia is not going to stop infiltrating. It's going to take Ukraine coming to the table and us not to invest any more in them. Trump just said he does not want to send any more money to Ukraine. But guess what the Senate just did? Passed a $1 billion spending package to Ukraine. So it shows we're still in it. So now we have funded Poland with AI-capable drones. We have now gave another $1 billion, so we're not looking to slow down the war. So this rhetoric, this talk back and forth about nuclear war is only going to escalate to World War III. If all of a sudden China goes into Taiwan, all of a sudden North Korea and Iran and India come alongside the other BRICS nations like Russia and China, what are we looking at? We're looking at escalated world war. This is not what anybody should want. Listen to what Trump said. President Donald Trump has declared the United States is fully prepared to engage in nuclear war with Russia, emphasizing the nation's readiness for a potential conflict. I mean, is this something that we would want? No, absolutely not. Another report, Trump said the United States will not fail in being totally prepared with war with Russia, even down to nuclear. Now, I don't know about you. There's some scary things. So here's what we've done. We do have a bunker. We showed that video yesterday. Again, a replay from Life at Kobe Mac video, but it's a great video. I'm not saying everybody needs to build a bunker. That's been 20 years in the making, honestly, for us. But we have bought face masks. We've bought radioactive filters for that. We've bought potassium iodine tablets. We've bought potassium iodine drops. We've also bought extra blankets and covers and plastics and things like that could go over windows. We actually have extra clothes that is put in a sealed container, so that way we won't have exposure to that. Now, is any of those things going to save us from it? Maybe not, but that's what we do when we talk about preparing. We also have a little Geiger counter that basically tells us, if the radioaction is bad here. Now, do I believe that places like Mississippi would be harmed? No, they wouldn't be trying to go towards Mississippi, but the fallout could still take place. Also, what about foods? What about water? What about contaminants? So we need to make sure that we're preparing by putting things up, because it may not be in your region or area if something like this took place, but what about the food and water sources that come from that area? There's a report, and this has nothing to do with nuclear war, but I want to show you the fallout, how important it is. There's an exposure element in South Carolina that they just talked about. It says workers in a former U.S. nuclear site has found radioactive wasp, even to the levels of radiation 10 times the federal limit. Workers in a former nuclear weapons site in Colombia discovered that radioactive wasp nests were located in there. This was per the United States Department of Energy. On July 3rd, staff at the Savannah River site found the empty nest was unusually high of radiation. So it shows that we can still be tainted with this stuff from our own sources, but not only that, from other fallout that could be coming towards our way if we see the escalation of world war into nuclear war. I mean, already hot war is bad, kinetic war is bad, but then you add a nuclear fallout to that too, that's catastrophic. We need to be paying attention to these stories. Medvedev said he is ready. Russia is ready to take on America. China's wanting to go into Taiwan. Trump says we're ready for it. This escalation is not good. And to be honest with you, as many bad players as we have in the Senate and Congress and all they want is war, I don't believe they're going to tone this down anytime soon. And that scares me. Now, before we go any further, a word from today's sponsor. Have you ever Googled yourself and literally your family members and information of yours came up? The question always comes to mind is how much of my public information is actually on the World Wide Web, on the internet where people could just access it. Not only that, think about all the spam calls you get, all the spam emails you get. I get several a day and have to block and block and block. That's where my friends at Aura, the sponsor of today's video, can help. Aura will help remove your personal information from data brokers and people searching sites to sell your information from and to identity thieves and scammers and more. Aura monitors your personal data, including your social security number, your house number, your phone number. And not only do they check it and monitor it, they will alert you if all of a sudden they find that your information has been compromised. Also, Aura VPN. VPN protects you on the internet, and this was with military-grade protection when it comes to Aura's VPN. It blocks all scam and phishing sites from getting your information in your accounts. What about an antivirus? What about a password manager? 24/7 US-based support. I get all this in one app called Aura. I do not want to leave myself vulnerable. We talk about it all the time. We live in a digitized world. The last thing I want to do is protect my home and not protect myself online. Check out aura.com/themacs today. You will not be sorry that you did. My information is mine. My social is my social. My address is mine. The last thing I want is someone else to have it. You can go to my link below, aura.com/themacs, and get 2 weeks free. That will be enough for you to see how Aura is an asset to you, because you're going to realize how much you're exposed online. Stop leaving yourself vulnerable. Check out Aura today. Link is in the description. Thank you so much, Aura, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's talk about these jobs numbers. Yesterday it came out that Trump fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics because the numbers were falsified. He said that actually we had more jobs that come in. Our economy's booming. So he fired that guy. He fired that person that was over that. Again, I think it's one of those things, if you don't have a supportive cast in your administration, your secretary, the people under you, you should be able to fire or hire depending on who you want. But here's what's encouraging. And again, not because I want people to not have jobs, but listen to these numbers. And this is from Leading Report, which is not a true conservative or liberal think tank. It's just an independent news source. It says native-born Americans have gained 1.8 million jobs over the past 4 months in America, while foreign-born workers have lost 1.5 million. Now, I hate to see people lose jobs, but what you're seeing is the exact opposite of what the Biden administration was doing. It said that also over 30,000 more jobs were lost in the federal government this month. So we actually may see bad jobs numbers, but it's because we actually cut more of our foreign-born workers, and we also cut more of our employees through the federal government. We've cut over 100,000 jobs in the IRS alone. Those are good things. I hate to see people lose jobs, but then you see the turnaround. It says why 1.5 foreign-born workers are losing jobs. 1.8 million jobs have been taken by Americans. So Americans are basically a positive over the foreign-born workers by 300,000. So not only did we replace the foreign-born workers, we added another 300,000 over the last 4 months. That's encouraging. So this is the point where we have to really pay attention, not just to the news, because the news wants to skew it one way or the other. We need to dive into the numbers. So is our numbers bad for jobs? Not really. But to be honest with you, the way they spin, it's like, oh, we're going down, this economy is tanking. It actually hurt the market yesterday. But when you actually looked at the numbers, we did lose jobs. We lost them in the federal government. We lost them in the foreign-born workforce. But we gained Americans getting jobs. That is positive. That is the move in the right direction. See, this is where I want to get away from the war talk, the nuclear stuff. Let's focus on America. Let's get away from all the other junk that's going on that we talk about, and let's focus on Americans. We need to lower gas prices. Gas prices are actually lower. It's lower than it's ever been for us, I know, in our town. Egg prices, yeah, that's great. But you know what? Property is up. Insurance is still up. Taxes are still up. If we can nail some of those things down, That is what's going to help Americans. And that leads me to the last story, because this is another story that will help Americans. Trump said he gives a 60-day window to these pharma companies. If they do not lower the price of prescription drugs using every chance they get to make it lower, he said he will come after them with everything he has. That's encouraging. So not only did he get a lot of these big pharma companies to house it back in America, come back to America and start producing, you saw a lot of these companies start doing that over the last 6 months and start building warehouses to do that more and more. So we stockpile medicine. Did you realize that we do not have enough medicine for over 30 to 60 days if something bad happened in China? Because most of our stuff comes from China, remember that? So we'd be still fully dependent on the country that we were hoping not to go to war with, Taiwan. So Trump is actually bringing that stuff back home. That's great. But not only that, to lower the prices. Now, I'm one of those people that does not believe that pharmacy should be our main objective in life. I cannot stand medicine. We don't take any here with our home. We do have emergency preparedness medicine, but there is millions of Americans. I think it's 75% of all Americans are on some kind of pharmacy prescription. Well, if we could get that price lower, think of this. If you could get a 20% or 30% cut in your pharmacy bill, think how much money that would save you. Especially if you're older, especially if you're on a heavy regimen, especially if it's life-saving medicine. That's why I have to pay attention. You see my daughter, she's telling me I better hurry up. Guys, the point of the video is to see that we have to prepare for the things like nuclear talks. This is no joke, this is not clickbait. This is actually happening. Could it be just who's playing chicken and who's the biggest man on the block? It could be, but I don't think this is good for anybody. But to then hear the things like prescription drugs are coming down, to hear the things like the jobs numbers are getting better. We need more of that news in America for good news and to keep these things up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go inside and have some breakfast with the girls because it looks like they're up. Y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. Before we end the video, we're going to be doing a giveaway. The giveaway for July is going to be shirts that we have from our stock and from our store, also some soaps from our store, and also some happies and goodies from other providers that do prepping with us that gives us gifts to give away. So it's going to be several things in a packet. The winner of July's giveaway is going to be Peg Elliott. Peg Elliott 6341 is your handle. Peg Elliott commented over 100 times on our channel, has received 52 hearts, and has been very, very active. Thank you, Peg Elliott, and thank you for all the ones that watch us. We humbly thank you. We need your support, and the way you can support us is simply give us a thumbs up, commenting, telling YouTube that we love this video, and of course subscribing. That's what matters, and that tells YouTube that this information is important. We need your support. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.